Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a very heavy rack with 3 of the 4 highest scoring tiles. I can play Dozy, which is better than changing, despite retaining the Q. That's 34 points. The X is a good tile, and Dozy doesn't give an awful lot away. That's good. I draw 2 vowels. I don't have an I or a U, which would help the Q, but I should be able to play the X for a decent score this turn. And I'd like to play off quite a lot of tiles to increase my chances of drawing an I or a U. If my opponent plays an A, I may be able to play cat. Nowhere fabulous at the moment for my X, although it will play under the O, or does play under the O of Dozy. I'd like to play off at least one of the T's. Now my opponent does play an A, that doesn't help me with my Q. Novena takes an E and an S after it, I think. My opponent has opened up the H1 triple word square, but I can't see a way of using that with my X. There's also a double-double lane in column 5. The V has obstructed parallel plays. So can I play the X? And can I play one of the T's? I've got sexto on my rack, which would play in column 5, but I'm reluctant to play the S. Can't see anywhere for text. Only my S. Well, my X goes after the Z. Does that help? Det not good. Otherwise I could play Tex underneath it. I could play Yex down here. And that's 39 points, and that is a good score. I'm not playing off one of the T's, but I don't think I can score anything close to 39 elsewhere, so I'm going with this. And I pick up a couple of T's. And this rack is now looking pretty changey. I think I'll change 5 and keep 1 T and the S. Unless my opponent happens to place an I next to a triple letter square, and he hasn't. Great, he hasn't bingoed. I've still got a lead, albeit one that won't last very long, and I am going to change. I could keep the O, but I'm not going to. Great, I draw a blank. And this looks close to a bingo. Through an I or an N, I would have hind guts. Through an R or an A, I would have drafts. At the moment, there's just the L, E, and D. The D doesn't look good. The E looks like it may be helpful given my vowel shortage, and the L isn't sparking anything. So with the E in mind, let me zip through the alphabet. So that's the drafts rack. That's with an E on my rack. Can't see anything there. Let me keep these letters in order. So that's the hind guts rack. My opponent's played, he's provided no new floaters, but he hasn't blocked the existing ones, and in particular, he hasn't blocked the E. He has obstructed 2 two-letter sets, which I was going to turn my attention to. I note also that the O of Noveni is available for a multiple overlap bingo. Now this is where I got up to, which was the hind guts rack. 17 minutes on my clock. Still haven't seen anything, and I'm particularly keeping in mind the E. So does this make something? Ghosted plus a U. Can't see anything. That would be droughts through an O. Doesn't work with the O of Novini. Okay, so I'm not seeing a bingo. How can I play off tiles to leave a decent rack leave? I certainly want to play off the U. Quite nice to play to split up the G and the D, and preferably to play the G. And the H is my scoring tile, so a play of hug would work, but there's nowhere for that. I hope I haven't missed something through this E. I could play UH and XU. 19 points. But I don't think that's good enough. So can I play around near, well, with the tiles in jingled? One takes nothing in front of it, and Dozy takes nothing after it, and Novini takes nothing after it, so 3/4 of the board is really closed down, and the J taking nothing after it, so the only bingo lanes are through LED. However, I'm only 10 points behind, so I don't have to force this. So where can I play GH and U? Well, I could play EUGH. Here. That's 8 points as opposed to 19. So I'm sacrificing 11 points to jettison the G. May not be worth it. But I think the G makes a big difference to this rack leave. So I'm going with this. Wow. I picked the Q back plus the second blank. So I've got quested, nowhere for it. H only takes vowels under it. So the only bingo lane is row M. So do I have a bingo beginning with a vowel? And what I can do is set one of these blanks as a U. And really, I suppose, consider the second blank as a vowel as well. Nothing goes in front of FY. My opponent's only scored 16, so he's not zooming away. He's only 19 points in the lead. Nothing there. Nothing there. No real floaters to consider either. Nope. Okay, so what about playing caddy across here? 39 points. Not too bothered about burning a blank. Quite keen to get rid of the Q, and I'm opening bingo lanes, and the rack leave is sensational, and, well, yes, it is. It's sensational for a 4-letter rack leave, and the score is good. Am I missing a much better spot? Yuch does take an S at the end, I believe, but I don't think I can play down column 8 without burning both blanks. 61 tiles left, 12 minutes on the clock. I'm going with this. Pretty good. I am surely bingoing now. I have estates beginning under the H of Yug. Do I have a bingo beginning with Q? Well, that would involve the blank being a U. Quest state, not good, so I don't have a Q bingo, which is a shame. That would score massively. I am fairly sure I have a bingo through the A. But that's a lot of vowels and a lot of duplicates. And my preference would be to play estates under the H. That may be blocked, so I may be forced to find one. I've already used up, well, 7 and a bit minutes of time, and there's a lot of tiles to come. So I have C tenant through the N, although that doesn't get doubled, doesn't get tripled rather. So what I'm looking for is a bingo beginning or ending with N. And, well, I can't see one. But I need to look. This burns up a lot of time if you keep a blank for multiple racks, but it's one of the best ways of finding bingos. N is not a common beginning or ending letter. So I've seen nothing so far. Ah, well. Statemen? Don't think so. That's C tenant. I'm going to come back to the men suffix rather. Still not seeing anything. Okay, so what if the play ended man or men? If it ended men, I have state, testament not good. And if it ended man, no, I can't see anything there. So do I go with C tenant? No, I don't think so. I'm going to go with cassettes, I think. Yeah, it's because of the score. Now, pretty good. Pretty good. Close to neighbours. No duplicates. Scoring tiles if I don't have a bingo. I'm mindful of the time. 10 minutes left. The floating A looks like it may help with an AGE ending, but I can't see a play. Bigorra doesn't take an S. Wow, nice bingo by my opponent. He is now 10 points in the lead. He's provided a few floaters. None of them help me. So what I can do is play Brogs down here for a decent score. I think this is good. And a decent rack lead, 45 points. That's an okay rack. The high scoring tiles go well with vowels. So I should be able to score well, sort the rack out, and get rid of the K. My K can go next to the O of Brogs. So I could play Oak in that spot. Now I note that my opponent's play of Interlap has not obstructed the Q because a U can go after it. Still 3 U's to come. I don't think there is a bingo with this rack, although it's not far off. My opponent takes my K spot, which is pretty annoying, and scores 31 points, so there's 1 point between us. Now, my K can play up here. I can play Oak. And look at that rack leave. That is a pretty good rack leave, and my opponent's player Foam has opened up a bingo lane in column 13. And the N of Scan still available, the T of Cassette still available. Or available rather, because it wasn't very long ago that I played it. So this is a pretty exciting rack leave. And Oak scores 29 points, which is good. Is there anywhere super hot for the K that I've overlooked? Don't think so. Now, that looks fairly good. Sani is one of the best 6-letter sets. It doesn't go with an A. There isn't a 7-letter play here. But is there a play through the T? Resinata, which plays. C-Train, Santeria. I think there's probably 3 others. There's Anti-Sarah, Artesian, and something else. I think the first 3 don't take an S and the last 3 do. But at the moment, Resinata plays. So do I have a bingo through the N? It's sometimes difficult to spot bingos with 2 N's. I missed Selenian in a video the other week. Well, I can't see a bingo, so where else can I look? Well, nowhere. I don't have a 7, so column 13's not available. What about the T? Well, that's the same set of tiles as cassettes, as the play through the T of cassettes. I don't think any of the 6 anagrams has T in first or second place. Yeah, Resinata, Santeria and C-Train are the last 3. Well, it'll be annoying if this... And he's done it, he's blocked it. Unbelievable. Now I'm only 4 points ahead. The perfect time for a bingo. Do I have a bingo meaning EN? Don't think so. KI? Don't think so. 9 minutes on my clock, 22 tiles left. I've only got 1 point tiles. So where can I score? Where can I score with this? And my opponent's, it's a good play by my opponent. He's killed off 2 really good bingo lanes. So even if I play off just 1 tile, say, and keep a really good rack, there's nowhere for me to play my bingo. And it's hard to play off 1 tile and open a bingo lane. But it's difficult playing away from this rack. I guess if I played AN, then the N of scan becomes a lot more valuable. I'm thinking about playing AN here for almost nothing, keeping a good rack lead, hopefully spooking my opponent a bit. If he is able to play in row A, he's likely to be opening up row B for bingos. And this certainly is distracting. I'd score a lot more if I played on, but then I'd be burning my E. I don't want to do that, even though there's 4 left. Wow, 4 E's and 5 I's. 9 of the remaining 22 tiles. I am ahead, so maybe I should. And still 2 R's to come. So near 25 points, keeping AIS. Near takes an A in front. I've got an A. So a little bit... Well, maybe I should play that A. Not too many high-scoring tiles to come. So why not just go for the score? 27 points. Wow. Well, I've mainly drawn vowels, so I think my nice 5-letter rack lead probably wouldn't have benefited had I have drawn vowels. But this is pretty tricky. Again, all 1-pointers. Very hard to keep scoring. But I think that's probably what I need to do since I'm 30 points ahead. Now, I can keep scoring because I've got a U for going under the Q. So I could play quoit for 19 points, keeping SIU, that's reasonable. 17 tiles left, 6 minutes on my clock. I've got the IOUS ending, but I don't think there's an 8-letter bingo with this rack. It's just too ropey. Great. Only 20 points for my opponent, so he's 11 points behind. He's blocked a bingo lane. So I can now play quoit. Is there an alternative play? I don't think so. Pretty bad again. Again, all 1-pointers. No bingo here, but very few opportunities to play a bingo on this board. This board is now super tight. That's in my favour. A 30-point lead is quite valuable on a board like this. The only high-scoring lane is really row A. So my opponent could have a word beginning AB or AP and score 30 or 40 points, but that's only going to draw him level. However, I'm not going to be able to score anything like that with my tiles. What I can do is play suid and quoits, which sorts the rack out. 25 points, so I do have a play. Great, my opponent's only got 21 points. The remaining tiles do contain bingos, but I think it's unlikely my opponent has a bingo. So suid for 25. 5 tiles left, so there'll be 2 tiles left after this. Wow, that looks pretty good. I've got periods. That doesn't play in row B under atrial, which is a shame. Row O does still contain a bingo lane through the N, with the N in first or second place. Poinders doesn't play, nor does prisoned. Nor does disponer. I'm just scanning the board in case I've overlooked bingo lanes. There's row D for bingos with TA in, well, for bingos beginning TA or STA. Can't see anything close to taperoids. I don't think periods has an anagram. Suid doesn't open up anything for my opponent. So my opponent may inadvertently provide a place for periods. He's 30 points behind. There's only 2 tiles in the bag. He might decide his only chance of bingoing is to... Well, he doesn't. 3 points for him. So does he have a bingo? He's emptied the bag so I can see what he's got. 5 minutes on my clock. He doesn't have a bingo. I am 31 points in the lead. So I can go out in 2. I can play period across here. But is there a play which gets the P doubled? I could play pied. Keeping sore eye. That's not a very good rack leave. Maybe period's better. 30 points, because I can definitely go out with IS fairly easily. And it scores the same as pied. Would anything be better than period? Well, only marginally so, if at all. So I can play psi, is, and AI for 10. 21 for my opponent. He is 40 points behind. I think tabai may be good. But I certainly don't want to end with a phony. So IS, can I get more than 10? Interlap takes an S, but I can't play the I. SIE, not good. It needs an S at the end. Well, I suspect there could well be a better play than this. Now, this is certainly a winning play. Just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does. Ambiguous. Okay, so the final score, 325 to my opponent, 385 to me, a winning margin of 60 points. Right, so let's see what I missed. It was me to go first, and I played Dozy, I think that's fine. Opponent plays Novena, and I play Yex, the higher scoring play, and I still like that. My opponent plays Jingled. This is where I changed, and look at the scores and rack leaves. I think changing is perfectly reasonable. Opponent plays Yao. Great, I didn't have a bingo here. UGH. I considered UH but not UGH. That certainly would have been the play for 23 points. Instead I did something unbelievably lame in comparison by playing the identical tiles in the identical order for 15 fewer points, so that was pretty remiss. Anyway, my opponent plays Phi. I played Caddy for 39. I could have got 6 more points and burnt the E, so not much between those plays. Now, my opponent looks like he has a bingo. He doesn't. He plays Scan. And, look at that. I could have played Eco-State, not opening up column 15. Eco-State, rather. And Acetate's also playable in the same spot, so those would have been better than my play of Cassettes by 8 points, and also more than that for strategic reasons. A nice rack for my opponent. He's got a bingo. He's got a number of bingos. And I thought I may be close to a bingo here, but I couldn't see one and played Brogs, and that looks best. Opponent plays Foam. And I play Oak in column 1 for 29. Wow, look at that Skeen, 48. An extra 19 points. Burning the S and wrecking the rack leave. Oak probably better. AENS is a lot better than O as a rack leave, and could be, and probably is, more than 19 points better, so I still like Oak. Opponent plays Varmint. And I played Anir. Not a nice rack for my opponent, and he's 31 points behind, so he's not in a good position. He plays Claw. I have a horrible rack, but it doesn't matter because I'm able to play Quoit. Opponent plays Atrial, and I play Suid, which was again quite fortunate to have such a high scoring, or relatively high scoring play given the ropiness of the rack. Now my opponent's swamped with Vals and 34 points behind and only 2 in the bag, so he's in a pretty dismal place. Plays Tui. Dopia, the anagram of period. That would have been 6 points better. Oh well. Opponent plays B and D5. Yep, Tabai is good, so I could have got 18 points rather than 10. But of no matter, because the game was won by that point. So pretty interesting game with quite a few challenging racks to consider. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.